with blue and the charmed ones too on Charm Chats.
Hello! And welcome to Charm Chats with Kendra
and Kat.
Today we're covering episode 310.
We all scream for ice cream.
Which aired on January 18th, 2001.
Mm-hmm. The title is a shortened version of the novelty song, Ice Cream, Ice Cream, You Scream, We All Scream for Ice Cream. Mm-hmm. It was first published in 1927. There's actually also an episode of the show Masters of Horror with the same title, though it was technically taken from the title of a John Ferris short story named You Scream, I Scream, We All Scream for Ice Cream. Because, you know, John Ferris is an American writer who mainly writes in the Southern Gothic genre. He was born in 1936 in Missouri. Links to all that on the website, of course. Mm-hmm. Yes. It's an interesting concept, though. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream.
It's just a pun.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, so we're going to get right into it because I promise there will be at least one tangent that is quite long. Mm-hmm. I'm promising it now so that you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yes, indeed.
But if you're listening to us, you already know what you're getting yourself into.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. We start with an exterior night shot of P3 with tons of people standing outside waiting to get in and the now appearing sign nowhere to be seen. Inside, we are shown a few shots of people dancing, and then we see a guy standing at the bar before cutting to Phoebe and Piper in the alcove. Piper is in a low-cut black top with like a bejeweled detailing and black pants, and her hair is half up, held back with like a little blue sparkly clip thing. And she doesn't seem to have any jewelry on except a few bracelets and a watch. Mm-hmm. Phoebe is in a multicolored skirt in shades of purple and pink with like an orangey, peachy colored top with like small little sleeves and a black collar and white trim at the buttons. It was actually a very interesting top. Mm-hmm. It also shows off her belly button and seemed to be made of velour.
Well, she's got to make it interesting somehow.
Yeah.
Wardrobe really loves to make Phoebe's outfits just interesting.
Yeah. I'm not going to tangent on velour, but I'll link to it on the website because I'm me and I'm weird. Her hair is pulled into like two messy buns with like a beaded headband thing, which was very, very like 1997. And she's wearing a necklace with a cross and something else. Funny. But it's a cross with something else dangling from the chain. I could not for the life of me figure out what the second thing dangling from that chain was.
A crystal, a bead, a something?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Whatever.
Anyway, Piper's peeking around the curtain looking at the guy at the bar. Phoebe comes and stands next to her, and we learn that this guy has been apparently staring at Piper, which Phoebe says is flirting.
And, guys, Phoebe is wrong. That is not flirting.
No. Staring at someone is not flirting.
No.
Yeah, no, not so much. Piper, of course, is not happy with him staring at her because she's in, quote, a serious relationship, unquote.
Prue ends up walking into the alcove at that moment and sits down.
Yeah. She is in a brown dress with blue and red flower detailing at the top hem. Her hair is down and she's got those large hoop earrings on again.
Mm-hmm. She says something about needing professional help, which gets a laugh from her sisters, and then asks Piper where her DJ is.
She mentions that thing where you get a song stuck in your head and you can't get it out, which is called an earworm, and it's the most annoying thing in the world.
Yeah. How do you get rid of your earworms?
I have to listen to the entire song at least once, if not twice.
Okay.
And even then, sometimes it doesn't work, because I still, thank you, Laura Bailey, still have the song Popular from Wicked stuck in my head.
Mm-hmm. I get around this because I usually have 2 to 3, sometimes upwards of 5 songs stuck in my head at the same time, just like winding around each other. So mostly I just try and, like, I'll listen to it, whatever the earworm in particular is, like once or twice, and then that will lead me on to something else, and then it'll just like they just get replaced every so often. Very rarely do I have an earworm that comes out of nowhere. Like, I haven't been listening to it recently. I haven't been thinking about it at all. Like, nothing has triggered it. It's just come up from the ether. Mm-hmm. One time it was the Pokemon theme song, which I hadn't heard in legitimately 5 years.
Hey, you know.
And suddenly it's in my head.
Yep. For me, it's usually songs that I used to listen to all the time, but then haven't listened to in a while, that will pop back into my head being like, hey, you haven't heard this in a bit.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes mine will be like, I hear another song that sounds or has a little bit that reminds me of something else. Like that, who is it? Who does Thunder? I think it's Imagine Dragons.
Okay.
They have an instrumental bit in the middle that sounds just like a bit of Lord of the Rings. I am not kidding. So yeah, that usually gets stuck in my head whenever I hear that song.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Anyway, Phoebe says that she understands because she had the Facts of Life theme song in her head for, quote, like 3 years. The Facts of Life was a show that aired on American television from 1979 to 1988. I think we've mentioned it before.
Most likely, they've probably referenced it
fairly
before.
certain. I'll, of course, link to the wiki for Earworm and Facts of Life on the website. But a little side note. Apparently, according to the wikia for the episode, in the French audio track, instead of using Facts of Life, they said Who's the Boss? Which is hilariously funny because, in case you aren't aware, Alyssa Milano was on Who's the Boss for its entire run. So I just thought that was a funny little, thing. Anyway, Prue says that she's had a song stuck in her head but doesn't know what it is and thought that the DJ might know. Piper, of course, says that they might know, and then Prue hums something for them.
And she doesn't hum it particularly well, which is hilarious because it's also ADR'd.
Yeah.
Which, like, okay, if you can hum it properly, why wouldn't you do that in the ADR? I don't know. Either way, it's half tuneless.
Yeah.
And she kind of half-heartedly is humming it anyway.
Yep.
So I guess that makes sense. But yeah, Piper doesn't recognize it. Phoebe says that if Prue added some choreography, she might.
Yeah, and she also says if Piper maybe backed her up with some old school beatbox, which, can I just say, the imagery of Holly Marie Combs doing beatbox would be just great.
Mm-hmm. That'd be fun. It's kind of like that bit in Hamilton where Eliza starts beatboxing.
Yeah.
And I know you haven't seen the, like, stage show.
Right.
But at that moment, there's, like, a beat where Alexander looks at Eliza and she's just kind of shrugs and he's like, well, okay.
Nice.
It's a cute little comedy bit.
Nice.
Anyway,
Prue gets playfully annoyed with them and walks away, but Piper and Phoebe follow her.
Piper hands Prue a card saying that their friend Justin,
The one that we met last episode,
has invited them to his annual family barbecue.
Prue says that they're still in the flirtatious banter stage.
Which is slower than I thought Prue moved.
Yeah, and that hanging out with his parents might put a damper on that.
Okay, you already know his parents.
And, you know, if hanging out with someone's parents puts a damper on your flirting, then you don't really want to be with them. Just say that. Saying.
I don't know, maybe. I can see that being a reason if, oh, they're going to keep reminding me of how I was as a teenager. That's not going to be fun.
Maybe.
That one makes sense. But anyway, Phoebe questions if Prue is having hesitations due to being a family gathering thing. And Prue says that her parental issues are not at play here.
Yeah. She says that the only thing that's bothering her at the moment is the song stuck in her head, hands the card back to Piper, and says that she just wants 5 minutes with the DJ, and then walks off humming the song.
Mm-hmm. We cut to a generic ice cream truck driving down the street, playing what is supposed to be the same tune Prue is humming, but because Prue sucks at humming, you'll just have to take the word for it.
Yeah. It stops in what looks to be an alley, and then a little boy, who is out by himself at night for some a la convenience reason, walks up to the window of the truck. There's nothing but white fog being shown, and then we hear a man ask if the kid wants some ice cream.
He, like, pops his head out of the, like, fog. The boy says, yeah.
And the ice cream man then shows his face. Yeah.
And then he says, you didn't say please.
And the boy screams, and we assume that he gets sucked into the truck because it goes into black and then into the opening credits.
Yep.
So, according to the IMDb, I'm thinking this is the proper character because it just came up as child, and he has no picture. So I'm going to assume that this kid is played by Dylan Kach. K-A-S-C-H. Cash?
Cash? I think Cash.
Sure. He was born in 1989 in California, and he only has 8 acting credits between 2000 and 2008, and this episode of Charmed was his 4th gig. The Ice Cream Man dude, because he is the Ice Cream Man dude,
yeah,
I will tell you about him. He is played by Bob Clendenin.
And he's totally a that guy.
He really is that guy. He was born in 1964 in Newark, Ohio. He's been in a ton of stuff. He started acting in 1992. He's still going strong. He's mostly been in TV shows with like single episodes or small runs, but his longest running gig was 64 episodes on the show Cougar Town between 2010 and 2015.
That was the one that had Courtney Cox in it, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Anyway, once again, we can tell by the credits that, unfortunately, this episode will not have Daryl Cole in it.
Yep. And on Netflix, we actually have a post-credit song.
What?
I know, right? Because we have filler shots, which is something we haven't had in a while.
True.
Right. So, again, I don't know what the DVD had because I've been watching on Netflix. I apologize. The post-credit song, thanks to Shazam,
Hashtag not sponsored.
is called Banging Away by Christina Harris.
And I could not tell you why it was named that, because in no point of the song did I hear the words banging away, but maybe it was during a different point. Who
Maybe.
knows? Anyway, this is Christina without an H.
Correct.
Not to be confused with Christina with an H Harris.
Yep, that is an American historian born in 1902 and died in 1972.
Also not to be confused with Christina Harrison.
Also with an H, who is a Scottish singer/guitarist/songwriter. I literally could not find out anything about this Christina Harris who played the song on Netflix because her website is even very sparse. But I was able to find a YouTube video for the song that has a still picture of her as the video. So I'll link to that just because. So let's start out with these filler shots. We get a night shot from a helicopter flying over the city, starting at the water, where we get a lovely glimpse of the Ghirardelli building.
We then transition into a night shot of the Oakland Bay Bridge that pans over, and we get a glimpse of the Triangle Building.
Yeah, haven't seen that in a while.
Sorry, the Transamerica Pyramid.
Yes. We get another lovely sun-drenched shot of the skyline before that wonderful shot of the sun coming up behind the buildings that we've seen a bunch of times before. It's that one that focuses on the fishing rod that's just leaning up against a fence.
I can't recall it offhand.
Yeah.
But I don't pay attention to the filler shots. So.
Yeah, I do, because I'm weird.
And then we get an exterior shot of the manor that starts at the base of the stairs and pans up through the tree that has some lovely green leaves on it.
Yep, and we see white flowers on the trellis in front of the front door. It's a beautiful shot. I love that shot.
Yeah.
It's just so nice.
And we cut inside to Prue, who is ostensibly asleep in bed, wearing a pink shirt and with her hair down.
Yeah, I still don't understand that. We're then pulled into what we are to assume is her nightmare, and we know it's a nightmare because we cut back and forth between the dream and Prue, and she is obviously sweating in her sleep.
And I think the nightmare is like desaturated or in black and white or something.
No, it isn't in black and white, but it's just like, it's kind of in like a shade of red.
They put a filter on it.
Yeah, it's got a filter. It's
That's
a
how
little
you know
wobbly.
that's how you know it's not now.
Yes.
They put slap a filter on that shit.
Yeah. The nightmare shows us a snowy playground in the woods.
We hear a child scream and yell, "Help me!"
And then we see a little girl in like pink pajamas running through the playground into the arms of an older man.
Prue's alarm wakes her up with a gasp, and we see it's 7 a.m.
And she slaps on that snooze button, and then we get a time jump to her at the front door. Front door opens, she walks out. She's now in black pants and a cami top with like a lovely little pattern of like shades of blue and purple. It's like swirly heart-shaped thing. It was, I liked that shirt a lot. It was a cool looking top.
Again, I cannot remember it right now. I can remember very little except the plot of this episode because I watched 2 weeks ago and then forgot what happened in it.
That's fine.
Oh well.
Oh well. Anyway, she picks up the newspaper from the porch. She looks around. We get a shot of the empty street, which is actually the same shot from episode 119, Out of Sight, right before the baby carriage goes rolling into the street, gets hit by a truck.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, hey, nice subtle reuse of stuff.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't you wouldn't notice it.
Exactly.
Anyway, she looks a bit suspicious of something and then goes back inside.
We cut to the kitchen where Phoebe, her hair pulled back into a ponytail and wearing a red and yellow sweater with some like Asian writing on it as a design, is sitting at the counter, or at the table, I guess, looking up some information about Cole on her laptop.
Everything
and it
we
is the
see,
most chunky laptop.
Yeah.
It was great.
yeah,
It was
yeah. I
adorable.
remember. I think my mom had one of these
Yeah,
before she got the one that now I have.
nice.
Yeah. But anyway, all the information on the screen is stuff we already know, though there is apparently the question of whether his mother, the demon called Elizabeth, is still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not gonna give you all the deets because
It's literally everything that we know about Cole. So if you've been paying attention... Anyway, Prue walks in, and we can now see that what I thought was a cami top is actually not a cami top. It has no back. It is held together by a single string.
which means it also has no bra.
Yes. But, you know...
From the front, you can't really
tell that she's not wearing a bra because you can't see her nipples because the pattern just distracts. So if nipples are on display, you cannot see them. But, like, legitimately, though, put a back on that shirt and I would wear that today. It was super cute.
Anyway, Prue says hi to Phoebe, who doesn't seem to notice her at first, and kind of like gestures with the empty coffee pot.
Yeah. She asks Phoebe if she pulled an all-nighter again, which
she did.
Of course she did. And we hear a ding from her computer.
And we are shown that she's gotten an internet instant messenger message from, quote, an old friend, unquote.
Yeah. But as soon as Prue questions her on who it's from, Phoebe closes the laptop and does that, like, oh, it's nothing thing that...
Which Prue takes immediately to mean that it's a boy.
Yeah. Piper then walks in. Her hair is down. She's wearing a long-sleeve black sweater that looked like a compact knit of some kind with a very chunky V collar and like a grayish detail down the sides. Again, really cute. Looked really nice on her. She's paired it with something tan, but we aren't shown very much of her below the waist at this time, so I couldn't tell what it was.
Yeah.
She interrupts their conversation to say that someone named Kara called her the night before and said that she saw Victor, who is reminding you their father, walking through the lobby of the Bay Tech building. So I'm assuming, at this point, that she's talking about the Bay Area Technology School, which is known as Bay Tech. It's a public charter school in Oakland, California, so at least they picked a school in the right area. It's a college preparatory school. It teaches grades 6 through 12. So that's basically junior high and high school, which is why it's a college prep school.
Yep.
Anyway.
Apparently, Kara hasn't even seen Victor since they were in the first grade, but this didn't stop her from recognizing him.
Yeah.
So
Piper mentions that they haven't spoken to Victor in a year, and Prue, in our first instance of this episode, Rewriting History, makes it known that she doesn't care if he's back in town because they aren't meant to have the, quote, Rockwellian porch with the house, the two-car garage, the picket fence, the golden retriever, and the doting mom and dad, unquote.
methinks the lady doth protest too much.
Yeah. So we are, like I said, this is the first instance of this episode of Rewriting History because apparently, even though the last time we saw Daddy, Prue seemed to be okay with him being
also,
there.
Wasn't that 2 years ago, not a year?
Yeah, it was first season. I'm fairly certain.
Granted, they said they haven't spoken to him in a year, so maybe they've, like, talked with him since, but, like,
yeah,
it's possibly he dropped off the radar and Prue took it personally?
Yeah, I don't know. That it's just very, very weird because...
Although,
like,
come to think of it, they only saw him the once and they tried to get him to come around and he just, like, dropped off that VHS tape where Alyssa was playing her mother.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Anyway, so Prue is, of course, referring to the artwork of Norman Rockwell, and we shall get our longest tangent right now. Norman Rockwell was an American author, painter, and illustrator. He was born February 3rd, 1894, and he died November 8th, 1978. His work is revolutionary, and I really want to take a trip to Massachusetts to see the Norman Rockwell Museum that's there, because I want to go. I want to see it. I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Massachusetts. One of these days. He is most well known for doing covers of the Saturday Evening Post, which is an American magazine that is still being published 6 times a year. The first issue was put out in August 1821.
Wow.
Though the wiki says that it started as a weekly publication from 1897 until 1963. So I don't know between 21 and 97 when it was running.
No, because I was watching Zorro earlier, and that starts in 1821.
Well, there you go.
Coinky dink.
Yeah. It went to bi-weekly from 63 to 69 and then just died out for 2 years.
No indication of bi-weekly meaning twice a week or once every 2 weeks. It means both.
It does.
Whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, I believe it was once every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. It died out for 2 years before being brought back as a quarterly publication in 1971, and then it was redesigned in 2013. Norman Rockwell was discovered in 1916 by an editor named George Horace Lorimer.
Which is really a very good name.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite for that time. Maybe like a century earlier?
Well, he was born in 1867, so...
Okay, yeah.
You know. He died in 1937, though.
Mm.
Rockwell was just 22 years old when he was discovered.
Fresh out of college. Well, not really.
Well, college age, anyway. Lorimer purchased 2 illustrations from Rockwell to use as covers for the Saturday Evening Post, and then he commissioned 3 more. During Rockwell's 50-year career with the magazine, he painted more than 300 covers, which is why everybody knows him from that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I could totally tangent about the Saturday Evening Post for a while because there are so many interesting things about it, but I won't. I will link to the wiki on the website for anyone who wants to check it out. As for Rockwell, I've still got a little tangent in me.
I don't doubt it for a second.
The most famous cover that he did, the most, that most people will probably know, is from 1943. It's Rosie the Riveter. However, the image that most people think of when they hear Rosie the Riveter is not actually the painting that he did, and wasn't called Rosie the Riveter when it was made. His version is based on the artist Michelangelo's painting Prophet Isaiah from 1509, which is on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tangent on that. I'll link to the Sistine Chapel and the Michelangelo and all that stuff. Rosie the Riveter is sitting in front of an American flag, stepping on a copy of Mein Kampf, because of course.
Mm-hmm.
She's holding a ham sandwich in her left hand, a rivet gun in her lap, and she has blue overalls with like a bunch of badges and buttons that all mean something. It's all on the wiki. Read it for yourself. And then you see there's a lunchbox next to her with the name Rosie etched onto it. And there we get the name of the painting, Rosie the Riveter. In 2002, the original painting for Rosie the Riveter was sold at Sotheby's, which is the world's 4th oldest auction house that is still in continuous operation and has been around since 1744. It sold for nearly $5 million, that painting.
Wow.
Yeah. Craziness. Anyway, the term Rosie the Riveter was first used in 1942 as the title of a song by Red Evans, that's Red with 2 Ds, and John Jacob Loeb, not to be confused with John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
His name is my name too.
Exactly. But the image that we immediately think of when we hear Rosie the Riveter is actually from 1943 as well, but it's from a poster titled "We Can Do It!" by J. Howard Miller. He was born in 1918, died in 2004.
That's a nice long life.
Yeah. At the time the poster was first released, the woman had no name attached to it. The reason that the We Can Do It painting is the one that took over the world as Rosie the Riveter is because Rockwell's cover art for Rosie the Riveter was copyrighted. So it was harder to have it. Yeah, it was harder to have it reproduced. Miller's poster had no such restrictions and was able to be printed on tons of stuff and has cemented herself as the Rosie the Riveter image, even if she didn't start out that way.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Yep.
Okay, enough tangenting, links on the website, blah, blah, blah. Back to the show.
Piper says that, to Prue, that they're not a typical family and that their dad is all they have, but Prue reminds them that they have each other. Mm-hmm. Except she sounds kind of bitter about it.
Yeah, a little bit.
So, that is inspirational.
Yeah. She tells Phoebe that if they want to have lunch together, that she'll be on Nob Hill in the park doing a photo shoot. There is a town called Nob Hill, but it's like an unincorporated part of something.
Sounds like a lot of dicks live there.
Anyway.
Piper asks to walk Prue out. Prue grabs her keys and they both head off.
And Prue is still humming that tune to herself as they go.
At least we think it's that tune. Mm-hmm. Can't tell. She can't hum.
Phoebe opens the laptop again and we see her look at the alert about the instant message, but we don't actually see her read it.
Mm-hmm. We cut to an exterior shot of a tall building with many
windows. Yeah.
Inside, we see 4 people enter an already crowded elevator.
Prue, who has added a denim jacket with a fuzzy collar to it, is in the back of said crowded elevator. She checks her watch. We see the elevator floor indicator counting up, and we hear a small girl's voice humming the tune that Prue had supposedly been humming to herself at the end of the last scene.
Except this girl can hum.
Yes. Prue looks around, and we are shown only adults in the elevator with her, none of whom are humming.
And she's not looking down either.
Well, yeah. We get one woman looking through a brown paper bag, holding a takeout coffee cup against her chest with one arm. It was precarious, and I did not like it, even though the cup was probably empty, as they so often are. It just seemed unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
We are then shown in a single panning shot, a man next to Prue, a woman in front of him, a man at the back of the elevator, and a man holding some FedEx boxes.
It is a very crowded elevator.
Yes, I'm not going to tangent on FedEx. I think I've mentioned it before. I'll link to the wiki.
Find the arrow.
Me, you know. This guy seems to be whistling, but it's barely audible.
Mm-hmm. The elevator doors open up.
And we have continuity.
Yep.
Major continuity issue. While they weren't shown in the panning shot at all, we now see the 4 people who entered the elevator when the scene first started. And then the woman that we did see from the panning shot grabs the hand of a young girl who walks out of the elevator humming said tune.
Cute little girl with some curls.
Little
and
pudgy cheeks.
Little denim jacket.
Yeah.
That I remember for some reason.
Hey, you know.
And tiny little glasses.
Yeah, she was super cute. Prue then tries to get out of the elevator, but people get in the way and the door closes in her face because tension.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And because she doesn't know the trick about just sliding her hand through the opening to interrupt those lasers so they go, ah!
Mm-hmm.
Because elevators are not designed to actually close on people.
Correct. Unless they're old.
Or in a Final Destination movie.
Yes, that too. Or broken.
True.
If
But
they're
there's
broken.
many lasers.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they're all connected or
And
something.
now I have a double click song in my head.
Is it a song about which you have feelings?
Yes.
I thought so.
Yeah. Anyway.
You should link to the double clicks now.
Ah.
Because, y'all, if you haven't listened to the double clicks, they're delightful with a capital D.
Mm-hmm. Indubitably. Mm-hmm. Anyway. We cut over to Piper, who's walking into a building with lots of people around, and we can now see that she paired that awesome black top with a long tan skirt and black boots.
Mm-hmm.
And we're given a POV from behind Piper that shows us a large statue of the Thinker, which I will link to that on the wiki, on the website, without tangenting on it, because it's just a statue. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. And then we see a desk with the words Bay Tech Building on the wall behind it. So apparently she was not talking about the school earlier.
This strikes me as something where the writers put in something knowing that Bay Tech was a school, and the prop department took it literally.
Yeah.
Or something. Like, no one ever clarified. So just like, Bay Tech Building. Okay, they literally mean Bay Tech Building. Great. We're not going to look any deeper into this.
Yeah. Don't know.
Or maybe there was a copyright issue because it's a charter school. I don't know.
Or because it was, a college prep school, they couldn't actually go there. Who knows? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of reasons that things happen, and we are not privy to them.
Nope.
Anyway.
It would be fun to be.
Yeah. Piper walks up to a reception desk, which is this desk that we've seen, and we see a receptionist. She is played by Bernadine Jones.
Which is a great fucking name.
Yeah. Though the credit on the show actually had her name spelled with an E instead of a U for Bernadine. This was her second acting gig.
Aww.
Yep. She only has 29 acting credits up to 2013, nearly all of which were single episodes of TV shows.
I mean, hey, it's a good life.
Mm-hmm.
Piper rambles on at this receptionist for a moment before asking which company Victor Bennett is with.
So here we have our second glimpse of this episode rewriting history, because the last time we saw Victor, way back in episode 103, he was played by Anthony Dennison, and he was called Victor Halliwell.
Which is still pretty funny because we know Penny was Halliwell. And
right.
And their mom was Halliwell, so he took their name. And I think, actually, come to think of it, I think later in the series, he just calls himself Victor Halliwell. I feel like he does. Like, it's just funny.
That I don't know. But
hey, Why can't guys take their wives' names? Why is that such an issue? Why can't you just find a mutually inconvenient last name and go for that?
There's actually one of the comic strip online. One of the artists that I follow, when she got married, her husband took her last name.
Yep. I know of a few people who've done that.
Yeah.
Mostly because there was, like, abuse in their husband's history, and so they didn't want to be associated with their parent.
Yeah, well, that could be it, too. Mm-hmm. You know, I doubt that was...
Well, no. I mean...
I doubt that was this situation.
It's not the only reason you would do that, but, like, it is a reason.
It is a valid reason, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As is just like, hey, I like your last name better. Let's take that one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, sometimes you have two names that are both really awkward to have as children, and so there's no good solution except
pick
a
new
random
one.
third name.
Yeah, pick a new one.
I mean, I get that it's difficult for genealogists if you just like randomly change your name when you get married, but considering that all of genealogy nowadays is conducted like digitally, yeah, when the internet fails, we're all fucked for that anyway. So have fun.
Yep. Yeah.
Shrug.
Yep. I do know one of my friends, when she got married, her last name was long and ethnic, and she hated it, and she was marrying someone whose last name was short and rude. And so they
wasn't Schmuck.
No, I believe, I want to say,
because my friend's teacher in high school, her last name was Mrs. Schmuck.
Yeah, and I can't remember exactly what it was now, but they changed their name. They're just like, let's pick something in the middle. And I think they went with something like very generic, like Smith or Jones or something.
That's
like
boring.
Yeah, they're just like, let's go something generic and
no, pick
whatever.
And
I'm like,
pick like a name from your favorite book or something. Go with Potter.
Yeah.
Or something. Or Granger.
Yeah.
I don't know why I keep going with the Harry Potter books, but
because you're you.
Baggins. Go with Baggins. Be a Baggins.
Yes.
Live in the Shire.
Let's get married and be a Baggins.
Oh, man.
Anyway.
No. My French teacher's last name was legitimately Mrs. Schmuck. That was her married name. I do not remember. We asked what her maiden name was, and she told us, but I can't remember it all because it really just does not, like, stick out as much as Schmuck.
I think my absolute favorite teacher name, that it was her married name, and every time anyone would remember that it was her married name, she would complain about why she changed her name. She should have kept her maiden name, which I thought was very funny because her first name was Sarah and her last name was Lee.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So, being known as Sarah Lee,
yeah,
when there is a pastry company.
That's when you move to Montmarchard.
Yeah.
Because no one's ever heard of Sarah Lee there.
But nobody doesn't like Sarah Lee. Anyway,
the receptionist types something onto her little computer and then tells Piper that name isn't listed in any office in the building, so Piper pulls a picture out of her purse.
She says that the picture is about a decade old and then asks the receptionist if she's seen him anyway, and we get a look at the picture and we have our third glimpse of rewriting history. The man in the picture is very much not a young Anthony Dennison, but is in fact a young James Reed.
That's R-E-A-D.
Yeah. So, just as they changed the actor who played Nicholas, we now have the changing of the actor who played Victor. James Reed, because we are seeing a picture of him, I might as well tell you about him, was born in Buffalo, New York in 1953. He was studying law at the University of Oregon, but before graduation, he fell in love with theater. So he dropped out of college and joined a theatrical group in Denver, Colorado, because of course he did. His first acting gig on IMDb was an episode of Cheers from 1982, and then he got a 22-episode run on the show Remington Steele, which is the Pierce Brosnan show that stopped him from becoming James Bond after Roger Moore because they wouldn't let him out of his contract.
Instead, it went to Timothy Dalton.
Yep.
For 2 movies, and then back to Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah. James Reed has been on a ton of TV series, and he is still acting. His longest gig was 90 episodes on Days of Our Lives between 2015 and 2017, and his most recent role was on NCIS that ran back in January of 2018.
Mm-hmm. And, spoiler alert, he remains Victor throughout the entire rest of the series up until the last episode, like when the entire series ends.
Right.
So this is now Dad.
Yep. Indubitably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, the receptionist says that she hasn't seen him and she's looking a little pitying.
Annoyed, yeah.
And then Piper spots a man walking out of an elevator.
She
She at most gets
immediately-
like a quarter.
Yeah, like
not even
she
like
kind
a
of sees like a
profile.
little bit of gray hair at the temples, and
She
it's
gets
like
a
that
quarter
must be
profile.
Dad.
Like a quarter profile.
Yeah.
And just runs after him.
He turns around and she realizes that he's not Victor, so she apologizes and he walks off, leaving her alone in the lobby.
And she looks very sad.
Yeah. We jump over to what we are to assume is Nob Hill at the park, and we are shown a table with lots of like photo shoot stuff on it, and there's children hanging around, and then we pan over to Prue and Phoebe sitting on like a bench or a concrete like stoop thing, and they're eating lunch, and it's hilariously funny because it's this like styrofoam like container filled with random shit like fruit, and then I think there was like some rice or something. Like it was just the most.
Sounds like craft services to me.
Yeah, it was a very interesting amalgamation of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like she might have gotten it off a food truck
Or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, true to form, Phoebe has changed clothes.
Yeah, she is now in a magenta pink button-down shirt that is unbuttoned over a black top that we never actually see anything except the fact that it's black. She has paired this with what look to be tan and blue camo pants that have been faded so much that the blue looks more like a stained pattern than camo. She's also wearing a necklace that's that same like cross something thing with the little pendenty thing on it, and her hair is in like a messy ponytail.
You did such a good job of miming that pendant that I thought you were actually wearing a necklace.
Well, I technically am wearing a necklace, but
Well, yeah, but like I thought you were wearing like a small, like thin chain necklace that I just hadn't seen before, and I was about to like lean in and go, "Oh yeah."
like, what you wearing? I'm glad to know that my miming skills are up to par.
Yeah. Go to France, hang out on the street, wear stripes, and lots of face makeup. But yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Prue is talking about pitching an idea to the magazine that she's hoping will make the cover. Phoebe says she's artfully dodging something.
Which is a very small call out to the Artful Dodger from Oliver Twist. Not going to tangent, but I'll link it, of course, blah, blah, blah.
Prue says she doesn't want to go. Phoebe says that it has something to do with their dad.
And Prue wonders why Phoebe thinks that everything Prue does is because of Victor.
Because the writers don't have a lot of imagination.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to women's motivation.
So true.
Phoebe says that she thinks Prue is trying to convince herself that she doesn't care, which, you know, yeah. And that she understands due to what she went through with Cole. But Prue says that the feelings she has about their father are in the past and should stay there.
And then as Phoebe mentions Justin, we hear a girl humming the same tune as we heard in the elevator. Prue mentions the humming to Phoebe, and then grabs a piece of food from her lunch before running off to find this child. I don't know why. She grabbed like a piece of fruit or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like made the physical effort to grab this piece of fruit and go running off. I don't know why this was a thing that happened. Anyway,
who knows?
We see a young girl wearing a blue sweater over a white turtleneck and red pants.
Yeah, she's got like dark brown hair pulled back into a ponytail.
Yeah. She is playing with a fountain, which is a little bit creepy because the fountain is in the shape of a man's head, and the girl is holding her hand over the mouth of it. It's a little bit creepy.
Yep.
And it's not like it was like a head like sitting upward. It was a head that was like backwards. Like a laying down kind of head. So that face
The
is
spout goes up.
yeah, so the face is pointing toward the sky, and she's just sitting there with her hand covering the mouth and staring into
And kind
nothingness.
of giggling.
Yeah, it was very creepy. Anyway, this little girl is played by Alexa Nicholas. She was born in 1992. She has 33 acting credits between 1999 and 2013, and she's mostly done TV shows and TV movies.
Back to the present. Prue, now not holding any food in her hand, asks the girl what the song she's humming is.
The girl points at the ice cream truck that drives by.
And then
it's
stares at it.
And then stares at it. And it's the same truck that we saw earlier. So there's that. Prue then stares at the truck. And Phoebe starts talking about Justin again. And then realizes that Prue isn't paying attention. And the little girl, who never says a word, goes running off toward the truck.
And Prue makes one of the biggest a la convenience conclusion jumps ever. She wonders why a kid would want ice cream when it's cold out, which apparently means something is wrong. And I'm like, no, it just means the kid wants ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
I love ice cream all the time.
Yeah.
So, even when it's cold out. So, whatever.
And she
also
questions
mentions
a bunch of things.
Yeah, she also mentions that no one paid attention to the truck and that there were no parents around the kid. I understand that logic of this kid is running around here, there's no parent that seems to be attached to this child, and nobody else paid attention when the ice cream truck went by. Which, okay, I kind of get that logic.
If there are other kids, you'd expect them to run for the truck. Which, yeah, I would get. It's weird that only one kid noticed the truck.
Yes.
That's weird.
Yeah, because there are other kids there. That's kind of the whole point of her being there, apparently, is that she's photographing these children in the park. As from what we saw from the outset of this scene.
Yeah.
When there were children in the background around the photo equipment. Anyway. Prue says that she's feeling deja vu, which I think I've mentioned before, as the feeling that whatever you're experiencing now you've experienced before, or it's a feeling of familiarity. Mm-hmm. As Phoebe asks if she's having flashbacks,
we cut to the ice cream truck parked in an alley.
Which seems to be the same alley that it was parked in before.
Mm-hmm. Apparently this is a very popular hunting ground.
Uh-huh. The girl walks up to the window and says hello. Then the ice cream man asks if she'd like ice cream, and we see Prue and Phoebe walk up to the truck. Just as Prue is mentioning her instincts about things, we hear the girl scream.
Prue and Phoebe see her as she starts to get sucked into the truck, and there's a lovely shot of her just sticking, just her legs sticking out of the window.
Yeah, so they try to grab her legs and pull her back out. There's a lovely continuity moment where we can see the wires that are holding the girl's legs in the air. I was actually able to get a picture of it, so I'll put that on the website, but don't get your hopes up that there are going to be any more pictures. I just happened to be able to get this one. Anyway, the ice cream man then pokes his head out the window as they fall to the ground.
They stand back up. There's a bit of a staring contest with the ice cream man before he ducks back into the fog in the truck.
Yep, and then the girl starts screaming, and then Prue, Phoebe, and the girl all get sucked into the truck with a flash of light and smoke, and we go to commercial break.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. We come back to the same shot that we left, with smoke coming out of the window of the truck, and then it, pushes in on the truck. And it's very dramatic.
And that allows us to transition to the inside of said truck.
And when we transition, we see Prue and Phoebe in the snowy playground of Prue's nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
This time it's kind of blue filtered.
Yeah.
And it's still that wibbly wobbly.
Timey-wimey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some whooshing sounds.
And the wind howling.
Yeah, and there's children yelling in the distance.
Prue thinks that they're not still in the ice cream truck. And
Phoebe is worried that they are still in the ice cream truck. And then we hear another whooshing sound, and Prue says that there has to be a way out because there was a way in.
The ice cream man comes up behind them, and we see his outfit, which is
a lovely blue and white stripe, stereotypical ice cream man jacket. I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, and he asks who they are. So Prue and Phoebe scream.
Prue, waves her hand at him, trying to fling him away with her power as they turn around. But we get one of my favorite moments when her power doesn't work. Prue is like, no powers, no powers, no powers.
To which Phoebe replies, I'm not surprised, I'm not surprised, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it was so cute. It was so well done. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it.
The ice cream man looks up and we see a black,
cloud-like,
but
kind of
particly.
Yeah, it was
it's a bunch of dust.
Yeah, it was really kind of odd. It was
it's like that dark lighter.
Yeah, kind of.
It was like that dark lighter orbing.
Yeah, a little bit. It was like a cloud of
the
black
blue
particles.
Outline.
Yeah. It's making a circle in the sky.
But
the
anyway,
ice cream man runs away.
Yeah. There's a loud screeching noise, and the playground equipment all starts moving on its own. Ooh. Thanks, props.
Yeah.
And Phoebe realizes that he wasn't running from them.
Yeah. They start to run off, but then a little boy comes out of the bushes crying out for help, and they run back to him, because of course they do.
Mm-hmm.
This kid is wearing a black and gray zip-up vest over a long-sleeve gray shirt with red panels on the arms and dark pants.
Mm-hmm.
It was very 2000, very
late
of
90s,
the time. Yeah.
Early aughts.
And I swear, if that vest had been all black, I owned that vest. Just saying.
Anyway, this is that kid.
Yeah, he's been in a bunch of stuff.
But his character is credited as Ari.
Yeah, so we don't actually learn this kid's name for a bit.
Yeah.
But he's here. I might as well tell you about him. The character is Ari. He is played by Bobby Edner. He was born in 1988, started acting in 1996, and he's still going, though his last non-voiceover gig was back in 2015. He voices the character of Vaughn, V-A-A-N, from the Final Fantasy video games.
Okay.
Don't know. Anyway, his face looked very familiar to me and not from this show. I thought for a moment that it might have been from the single episode of The Pretender that he was on, because I recognize a lot of people from those things, which it very well could have been. But he was also in the movie Spy Kids 3 Game Over.
That was the one with Shark Girl and Lava Boy, right? Shark Boy and Lava Girl? I forget which one's which.
It was Shark Boy and Lava Girl, but
And
no.
Taylor
Lautner is Shark Boy. Yeah, no, but Spy
and
Kids,
Ricardo Montalban.
yes, but Shark Boy and Lava Girl is not the same as Spy Kids. Spy Kids is Alexa Vega.
What I thought
And
they
the
were in it.
curly-haired kid.
Oh wait, hang on. No, who was the villain? Was Elijah Wood?
Maybe.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's been a long time.
Although I could have sworn that Shark Boy and Lava Girl were in that movie.
I think Lava Girl, is also Alexa Vega.
Oh, okay, maybe that's why I'm confused.
Yeah, she was in Repo the Genetic Opera.
I know, I've seen it.
Yeah,
I believe you showed it to me
I'm sure I did.
shortly after DashCon.
Yeah, probably. Oh, DashCon.
Oh, DashCon.
Anyway, but yeah, no, Shark Boy, yes, was Taylor Lautner, but he was not in Spy Kids.
Okay, I don't know. I think it's just the animation styles of both of those for the like CG bits are so similar that when my brain just connects the two and assumes they were the same thing. I
totally get it. Totally get it. Anyway, so this kid asked the girls for help from the Nothing, which they think is the ice cream man, but he tells them that it's the thing in the sky.
And he tells them very dramatically that they never know when it's coming or who it wants. Even though they try to hide, it finds them.
Yeah. He then runs toward the bushes, telling them to follow, and they do, and we see them all, like, crouch beside a tree.
And then we see the girl that they entered the truck with coming out of the bushes on the other side of the playground, kind of nearby, and yells for them to wait for her. Prue tells her to run, and naturally, the girl trips on the way.
Because of course she does.
And as Prue tries to run out to her, the girl gets sucked up into the Nothing.
Yeah, it's like they took a vacuum and just sucked her out of the picture.
There's a lovely, like, CG distortion on her image.
Phoebe pulls Prue back into the bushes. Prue laments about not being able to save her, but Phoebe reminds her that their powers don't work while they're there. So, don't worry, there was nothing you could do, that sort of thing.
Yeah, she says that they'll be better prepared next time, which already takes to mean that they're going to save him and all the other kids that have been captured by the ice cream man.
Yeah, he also says that if the ice cream man doesn't want them there, that they have the power to save the kids.
He then freaks out about the Nothing coming back, and they go off running again.
Yep, and because we can't stay in one place too long, we cut over to P3 via exterior shot. We see Piper's car parked near the door, and the tiny P3 sign is on the wall where the now appearing sign sometimes appears.
Mm-hmm. Because continuity.
Uh-huh.
Inside, Piper's on the phone. She's leaving apparently yet another voicemail for Prue and sounds very worried because she tried her work and was told that she never checked in after her shoot. Which is funny because at the time they said that her lunch break was like over already.
Yeah.
So, what? Okay, whatever.
But that means that she didn't come back after lunch and she didn't check in when the shoot was over. I mean, it makes sense.
Well, if the shoot was already over, why did she have a lunch break then? Why wouldn't it have just been over and bye?
Well, we don't know.
Mm-hmm. Whatever.
Issues and stuff.
Anyway, Piper sees the same guy from the first scene standing at the other end of the bar looking
very nervous. He's in a white shirt under a blue button-down under a black jacket.
And he looks like he stepped out of Pleasantville.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. He seemed what was the character's name from the movie? Billy?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of who he reminded me of.
Not,
a little
not
bit.
as much, because it's not a cardigan.
No, but like it's like that. He has that little like 1950s baby face thing going on.
He looks like that one guy from The Flash, like the TV show, who's like the bazillionaire dude who also played one like Superman in like not the recent movies, but like the ones before that.
I don't know who you're speaking of.
I forget his name, but yeah, very like classically handsome face.
Yeah.
That could easily be interchangeable with a bunch of other classically handsome faces, but not like completely nondescript.
Yeah.
Like easy to recognize, but also kind of looks like a lot of other people.
Yep. Like the Chris's of Hollywood.
Yes, the Chris's.
Yep. Anyway, so Piper hangs up the phone as he makes his way over to her, and he introduces himself as Caleb, so let me tell you everything I know about him. The actor is Paul Wittenberg. He has all of 7 acting credits.
So she's going to list all of them for you.
Yep. He was in an episode of Quantum Leap from 1993, an episode of Blossom in 1994, an episode of Time of Your Life in 2000, this episode of Charmed, a movie called The Ghost in 2001, 5 episodes of Touched by an Angel that spanned from 1994 to 2003, and a movie called Her Last Will in 2016. He doesn't even have a picture on IMDb.
Oh, poor thing.
Yeah. It's very sad.
Piper introduces herself, and then Caleb starts saying something about wanting to meet someone special.
He apologizes for interrupting her call, which Piper lies and says was her, quote, very large, very jealous fiancé.
And then she walks around behind the bar. And then we get one of the most awkward scenes in the history of TV. Well, not the most awkward, but it's pretty fucking awkward.
One of. It is by far very, very awkward.
Yeah,
Caleb asks if the fiancé comes to the bar.
Piper
She says
says
that he does all the time. And Caleb's like, oh, so he lives nearby.
Yeah. Piper starts trying to let him down and says that she's flattered and offers to introduce him to one of her single sisters.
Which prompts him to ask if they could all get together sometime.
And then he asks if her fiancé likes to hang out with her sisters. And Piper, again tries to shut him down. She says that if he's looking for kinky stuff, there's a club down the street that has cages, rubber floors, and a 3-for-2 special on Fridays. And I'm like, what is this club?
Why have we never heard about it before?
I want to know its name. It's probably a really good name.
I know, right?
Yep.
But he says that he's not looking for a club. She says she's not interested in whatever she thinks he's interested in. And says that she's got stacking to do.
And she starts stacking boxes of swirly straws.
Yeah. He starts to say that she's got the wrong idea, but then he stops himself.
And says that he'll be back later
when she's not stacking. And he walks away. Piper then picks up the phone to apparently call Prue again. And we cut inside the ice cream truck world again.
Yep.
But, like, seriously, that was so awkward to watch. Because you're just like, he started out so poorly.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking for a special someone. No, that's not how you start that.
No. This was, like, so euphemistic, you're like, this has got to have meaning. What is the meaning behind this? What is going on? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oy.
Yeah.
Anyway, cut back to the ice cream truck. Phoebe thinks that they're going in circles because they keep going through the same playground. And Ari's like, oh no, the nothing just makes everything look the same so it can get them.
Yeah.
Which apparently works.
Yeah. He also mentions that only a few of them can find their way around.
So Phoebe slaps Prue on the arm, which makes Prue gasp, and asks why she couldn't get a boy band song stuck in her head like everybody else.
Yeah, it was kind of funny.
It was.
We then learn that the ice cream man is the one that put them all there, that he's possibly in charge of the nothing, and that everyone has been hoping that someday someone would come to save them.
Yeah, this kid has a really annoying, melodramatic inflection.
Mm.
And I'm just like, dude, who directed you to talk like this? Can I talk to them? Can I tell them to, like, back the fuck off? Because, honey, you're not getting what you're going for. You're really not. And I'd love to help you, but you gotta stop doing that shit.
Yeah.
And I'm 20 years too late. Oh well.
Phoebe says that they're going to do whatever they can to get them out and asks to be taken to his friends.
So he points in a random direction and starts moving.
And Phoebe, as they're walking past it, touches the swing set and has a premonition.
And we see the same scene that played out in Prue's Nightmare, but it actually ends with us seeing the man's face. Surprise! It's Victor.
Yeah, so Phoebe comes out of the premonition. She says that she saw Prue in this snowy playground with their dad when she was little. And young Prue is once again played by Emily Thompson. Yay!
Continuity? What?
Yeah. I believe Emily is the only one who portrays
Young Prue.
like young Prue the entire time.
Mm-hmm. Do they...
Like she never changed. Yeah, I don't think, because I know that we had the other two at different ages,
Yeah.
but we only really see Prue.
She doesn't look that much older either.
No,
But it hasn't been that long.
no. Though it is quite interesting, though, that because this is the same scene from Prue's Nightmare, we couldn't tell that it was Emily at that moment. Like the distortion
Yeah.
in the field, in like the overlay filter,
filter.
whatever, you couldn't tell that it was Emily. Because if you had been able to, you'd have been like, oh, Prue's dreaming about herself as a kid in some sort of stress dream nightmare thing.
I mean, honestly, I could tell,
Well,
but like,
I kind of could.
I mean, I'm so bad at names I have to rely on recognizing faces more. So I kind of got good at that.
Yep. Anyway, we then cut back to the manor via a shot of a clock that I don't think we've ever seen before.
Well, didn't the previous clock get destroyed
No.
by... Oh, hang on. Wasn't it destroyed by that demon that they tried to team up with to defeat Balthazar?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they got a new clock?
I don't know. Maybe. Don't know.
Wasn't it a grandfather clock?
No, it was.
No, it wasn't?
No,
Okay.
it was just a smaller clock.
Oh, okay.
Because this is in the living room, not in the hallway, so this is a different thing. But it's a clock that we've never seen before, and a duck statue on the mantle that, again, never seen before.
Huh.
Yeah.
Anyway, Piper calls out for Leo a couple of times, and then he orbs in behind her.
He's wearing a black t-shirt under a green jacket. Very un-Leo, but looked good.
Anyway, he tells her that he was busy, and she makes a joke about him having orb waiting.
Mm-hmm. It was a cute play on call waiting. Very nice. He says that it's not fair to his other clients if she keeps calling him at work, and she asks for a teensy favor and asks him to look for Prue and Phoebe because they never came back from lunch and they haven't been returning her calls.
He starts to say that they're probably fine.
Piper gives him the look.
Mm-hmm. And Leo closes his eyes and concentrates. He gets a bit of like the furrowed brow thing happening, and when he opens his eyes, he tells her that he can't sense them anywhere.
They both look a bit worried, and we cut back to Sid's snowy playground.
Mm-hmm. 3 kids are now standing in front of Prue and Phoebe.
Ari, another boy wearing a white t-shirt under a blue sweater and
with
black
like a
pants.
little, kind of a bowl haircut.
Yeah, a little bit of a bowl haircut. And a girl in pigtail braids wearing a yellow shirt with like tiny flowers all over it. It was kind of very like 70s, like pajama type top. Under dark blue overalls and a pink button-down sweater with like a darker pink pattern at the sleeves and the chest. And again, I don't think these kids get names at all in the show, but they do have credits on IMDb with names. The boy is credited as Jersey, and the girl, who has freckles, guess what she's credited as?
Freckles.
Uh-huh. So let me tell you about them. Jersey is played by Soren Fulton. That's a name for you. He was born in 1991. He has 33 acting credits between 2000 and 2014, and this episode of Charmed was his 4th gig. Freckles is played by Erica Meir. She was
Or possibly Mare.
Mer?
Mer.
Mer.
It's like
M-E-R.
Mer person,
Yeah.
but just Mer.
Yeah. M-E-R. She was born in 1988. She has 17 acting credits between 1995 and 2010, and this episode of Charmed was her 7th gig.
Ari tells the girls that they're the only ones left. Freckles asks if they're gonna save them, and Phoebe's like, oh, well, we're gonna try.
Prue says that they need to find the ice cream man, and we are shown the ice cream man then peeking out from behind a tree, and Prue points him out to Phoebe, and he runs away. Prue tells the kids to stay where they are, calling him the Good Humor Man, as she and Phoebe go running after him. Now, Good Humor is an American brand of ice cream novelties that are usually sold via ice cream trucks. It started in 1920s as just a chocolate-coated vanilla ice cream on a stick, but
Yep.
it has very much expended. So basically, the Good Humor Man was the guy with the Good Humor ice cream for sale. Women wouldn't actually be sales vendors until 1967.
Fucking sexism. Meh.
There is even a comedy crime film from 1950 called The Good Humor Man, which involves an ice cream salesman becoming involved in a murder, and a 2005 drama/romance movie about a high school kid in 1976 facing an internal conflict when his best friend is linked to a death.
Oh no.
Links to everything on the website, blah, 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 blah,
Blah,
blah.
blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Prue and Phoebe run after the ice cream man, but stop as they see a hole behind the slide that looks like a view from outside the truck.
And they realize that it's the way out. They turn to get the kids, and the kids have appeared.
How convenient.
A la convenient, one might say.
Yep.
They then get the kids to go up the slide and out the hole. Freckles goes first, then Jersey.
The ice cream man spots them and yells out a no as Ari jumps through the hole. So
Phoebe
Phoebe
then-
goes next. The ice cream man yells for them to get away from the door, and then Prue jumps out.
Yeah, we cut outside to the open back doors of the ice cream truck, and everybody moves away from the truck except Ari. They are all like running toward the front of the truck down the alley instead of going the opposite direction toward where the park is. They're continuing down the alley. Just saying.
Whatever.
It was a little weird.
Anyway,
Phoebe tells him to hurry up and calls him by name, so we do get his name. There you go. This is when we find out it's Ari. And just then, the ice cream man grabs Ari by the shirt.
as Phoebe and Prue come back around to the back of the truck to get him, Ari grabs the ice cream man's wrists and burns his hands. We see like them turn red and bubbly and everything.
Yeah, we've seen this before.
Yes, we have.
Yes.
You've seen this particular power. Only,
I think it was
not this season, too. It was this season.
Wasn't it the telepathy dude? The
Telepathy.
Not telepathy.
Telepathy?
No,
Empathy.
Empathy.
Yes. Telepathy. Telepathy what now? What should I tell them?
It was the
Yeah, it was the empathy dude.
empathy demon-y dude that empathy wasn't his power.
Yeah, that the mayor gave him. From Buffy.
I was like, the mayor? It was a priest. Oh, yes.
It was the mayor.
Mayor from Buffy. Yes. Anyway, the girls see this as Ari pushes him back into the truck, closes the door. Phoebe says, "Oh my God." To which Ari replies in a low demonic voice.
Like they've overlaid a demonic voice onto him.
Quite the opposite.
Yeah, Prue says that they need to keep him away from the other kids, but it's soon quite apparent that they're
They're
also demons.
as well. Yeah. Ari tells the other demon kids to say thank you to the witches, which they do, and then they all laugh and run away, and we end on a shot of the girls looking a little bit confused.
And we go to commercial break.
When we come back from commercial, we get an exterior shot of the manor. Inside, Piper and Leo are sitting on the couch in the living room. Leo is telling Piper to focus on the positive, that, the girls are together at least, but all she can think of is the negative.
Because she's Piper.
Right.
Yeah, Leo tells her that any minute now they are going to walk through that door with a perfectly good explanation. And then indeed, Prue and Phoebe walk through the door and call out for Piper.
Piper, looks at Leo, and he looks stunned.
Like, oh my gosh,
then,
this useless platitude I have said actually came true? Wowza.
And then we get one of my favorite scenes. Piper runs over to hug her sisters. Leo starts to walk away, but Phoebe grabs him and pulls him into the group hug. Piper starts to ask where they were, but they don't really know how to answer that. But they do say that they have to go back, and Piper asks if it's demon or sibling related.
And Phoebe tells her a little bit of both. We thought the good guys were bad guys, and in trying to vanquish them, we helped the real bad guys, which were dead ringers for good guys.
And Leo goes, was that English?
Yep.
Which, they then exchange a look, and Prue's like, we need to check the Book of Shadows, and they head up to the attic. But it was just the funniest scene for me. It was like, was that English?
Mm-hmm.
I can't. But, if you actually listen to the words she says, it makes perfect sense.
It does. It's like that bit in, I think it was Shrek 3, where Pinocchio has to avoid lying, but he can't let them actually know the truth, so he just does, this runaround of, double and triple and quadruple negatives, which is really fun, and his nose doesn't grow at all. So it worked.
Exactly. We get a little bit of a time jump. Up in the attic, Prue is flipping through the Book of Shadows.
They learn that the ice cream man, all capitals, well, capitalized, rather, is a mortal who basically is a demonic dog catcher. He uses ice cream as bait, and the song that plays from the truck, called the Devil's Cord, that's C-O-R-D, as the lure, and nothing is the only thing that can vanquish these demon children.
Yeah. There's a joke about lactose intolerant demons, which I thought was very funny. I will link to the wiki for lactose intolerance because I'm me, and of course I will. Side note, the font that is used on the page for the Ice Cream Man and the Nothing is just a little bit odd. Like, I didn't think it said the Nothing at first. I thought it said the Docking, and I was very confused by it.
The duckling.
Like, because it looks like the Docking, because, like, the N for the Nothing is connected at the bottom. And then I realized that the M in man was also connected at the bottom. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. But it really did. It looked like docking instead of nothing. It was very funny to me. Anyway, Leo wonders how they got out. Prue realizes that the Ice Cream Man led them to the exit to try and save them because the Nothing doesn't care if you're good or evil. It'll eat you regardless.
Is hungry. They realize that the Ice Cream Man is the only one who knows how to deal with the demon kids and is now stuck in the playground. And that most of their active powers don't work while there.
Yeah. Phoebe's premonition is mentioned, and then they come to the conclusion that talking to their dad is the only way to figure out what's going on.
Prue says they don't know how to get a hold of him, but Phoebe reveals that she knows he's been in San Francisco
for the last 3 months.
And she just got an email from him the day before, hence the message that she didn't open.
Right. She says that she didn't know how to tell her sisters that she'd been keeping in contact with him because there was never a right time to mention it. But now that she has mentioned it, Phoebe grabs her laptop, which is a la convenience in the attic with them, and goes to contact Victor.
Yeah, wasn't it like under a pillow or something?
Yeah, it was like on the table behind them.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Anyway, we cut to a shot of a burnt body next to a very sparse bush.
We pan up to see Jersey, the demon boy, standing on the sidewalk staring down at said burnt body. And there's the ice cream
He's
truck.
the Jersey Devil.
Nice.
Yep.
There is an ice cream truck behind them and some kids on a playground across the street.
Ari and Freckles walk up to him, and Ari seems very annoyed that Jersey has killed someone.
Because now he's got to clean up the mess.
Yeah, Jersey seems to be under the impression that they just needed to kill the Ice Cream Man. But Ari's like, no, we're looking for the truck we came out of. Not just any fucking ice cream truck, dude.
Yeah. And so the only people that they might have to kill are the witches that let them out in the first place. And he reminds them that they have to be smart about this and that there'll be plenty of time for fun killing later. He asks Freckles to clean up the body, which she happily does. She's like, I thought you'd never ask. And she puts out her hand and blows toward the body, and it disappears in a glow of red light. We then jump over to P3, no exterior shot.
Prue and Phoebe are sitting at the bar, and Piper is standing behind it, serving them both Perrier.
Which is a French mineral water that, in my humble opinion, only tastes good if you turn it into iced tea.
Okay, I can see that. Like, I just don't... I don't like the fizzy water.
Yeah. No, I've never been a big fan of non-flavored fizzy water.
Yeah.
But if you turn Perrier into iced tea, it's really good.
Oh, I bet.
Fizzy iced tea is really nice. Anyway, they have all changed clothes because it's apparently a new day. Piper is now in a periwinkle blue sweater and grayish jeans. Her hair is down. Phoebe is in one of those crinkle shirts in like reddish orangish.
Yeah.
She has paired that with pale blue jeans, and her hair is down and very wavy. And Prue is in a black long sleeve high neck shirt and jeans, and her hair is also down. Piper calls P3 Club Switzerland, which is a reference to the fact that Switzerland kept a neutral stance on the military during both World War I and World War II. I'll link to the wiki on the website, of course.
Prue says that she didn't feel like bringing him into their home.
Phoebe says that he's family.
But Prue says that this is business.
Yeah, she does say that she'll thank him if he gives them any useful information.
At which point, Caleb approaches the bar.
Yeah, Piper freaks out a little bit that he hasn't gotten the hint to go away.
Leo shows up behind him.
And she audibly asks Leo for help. Like, that was the funny, but she just kind of looks at him and goes, help me?
Yeah. Leo tells Caleb that he's got a call in the back room. Caleb just goes, oh, sure, yeah, okay. And Leo just walks him off.
Like, I'll show you where it is. Let's go. And Caleb asks Leo if he can ask him a question, which, like, this is where, like, I wish I had been able to see that scene.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, we don't, and it's sad, but I would have loved to have seen that scene. Anyway, Leo and Caleb walk away. Piper mouths a thank you at Leo, and Prue just kind of looks confused by the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then
we
see
Victor walks down the stairs.
He's wearing dark brown pants, a gray polo shirt, and a black leather jacket.
And all the girls stare at him for a moment.
Yeah. He asks for a hug. Phoebe gets up and gives him one, and then he compliments Piper on the club.
Mm-hmm. Because he hasn't seen it before.
Mm-hmm. Prue wants to get down to business and asks about the playground. Yes. And asks about the playground. Victor tries to pretend that he doesn't know what they're talking about.
But Phoebe tells him about her premonition, and Piper says that they need to get back there.
He tells them to let it go, which is not a reference to Frozen, even though it kind of works.
Yeah, I know, right?
And Prue says that they actually want to fix their mistakes.
After some prodding, he goes into exposition mode.
Victor says that Prue was home with a cold. He was looking after her while Patty took the girls with her on some errands. And we get a small flashback of young Prue sleeping in her bed as Victor tucks her in and kisses her on the forehead.
We hear Victor say that he was reading her a story, but she fell asleep after just a few pages, so he left her to snooze.
And then we see young Prue walking into the living room holding a very large teddy bear, and hear Victor saying that he never even heard her come downstairs, but that she probably was looking for him or a glass of water or something, and then heard it. And we cut back to the present as Prue realizes that he's meaning the song.
Mm-hmm. Victor says that he heard the truck drive by and stop, but didn't think anything of it.
Prue apparently saw a little boy, not much older than herself, get pulled into the truck and ran out to help him.
Yeah, Victor tells them that he freaked out when he saw that her bed was empty, the front door wide open, and the truck parked outside.
He was able to save Prue, but lost them all because Grams found out just as he was bringing Prue back, and he realized that he couldn't protect them because he didn't have any powers.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a shitty reason to leave, but what can you do?
Grams kind of pushed him out.
Yeah. Phoebe realizes that the reason that the ice cream man can go through the door and they can't is because he's mortal, which makes you question because didn't we learn that they're technically mortal? They just happen to be witches. It's not like this show has a thing about sometimes they're mortal. Like, because Prue, with the empathy thing, she was getting overwhelmed by it because she's mortal. But in this one, they're not mortal.
Yeah, they do. They do have a bit of a continuity issue with that.
Mm-hmm. Just a little bit. It's not a bad continuity issue where it's not annoying so much as it is just
they could use better words.
Yeah.
Because really it's just that they are witches. They're not mortals, but like certain other things they can't handle. Like
I think
their powers
the word
don't
that they
allow
should
them...
have used was mundane.
Okay.
Because when you have like people who don't have powers are mundane.
Uh-huh.
And people who do aren't.
Right.
But they're still mortal.
Okay.
So that's the thing. Is like yes, the girls are mortal, but they're not mundane. And the ice cream man
not no-mages. Stupid goddamn name.
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, we can't use muggles because that's a different thing.
No.
But I think that would have been a nice wording change. Had it been, yes, the girls are mortal because they can die.
Yep.
But they're not mundane because they have powers.
Mm-hmm.
And so the ice cream man is able to get into the truck because he is mundane.
Okay.
Because he doesn't actually have powers. It's the truck and the song. Yeah. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, Piper asks for their dad's help, and we see them all kind of gulp a bit and look kind of
weirdly guilty. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was odd. We then get a lovely little time jump as we see Prue and Piper walking down a very sunny street with Phoebe and Victor walking behind them. Prue has added a brown leather jacket to her outfit, Piper has added a gray jacket to hers, and Phoebe has added an orange jacket to hers. Prue is annoyed at the wording of need when it comes to their father because they need his, quote, utter lack of power, unquote, and not actually needing him.
Piper sarcastically says that she's glad Prue has a healthy handle on the situation.
Yeah. They walk off frame, and we enter a conversation with Phoebe and Victor, seemingly already in progress.
Phoebe wonders why he didn't think she'd write back to him, and he says something about not being sure if she'd give him another chance after walking out on them again.
She says that she never thought he left by choice, and he thanks her.
They walk into an alley where the truck was but is no longer. There's some giggling, and we pan over to see the demon kids. Freckles blows at them again.
And flings them into some random barrels and boxes.
Which makes the kids laugh.
Prue makes a joke about them being grounded, and the kids run off.
Piper thinks that they should go after the kids, but Prue says that they need to find the truck, and Phoebe decides that they can split up.
So Phoebe and Piper go running after the kids, leaving Prue and Victor to find the truck. Because of course.
Victor realizes that sometimes there's no magic involved in things. There's just a no parking tow away sign that means the truck's gone to the pound.
Yeah. Prue seems annoyed by him being right about that, and then we see Ari watching them from some nearby foliage. And we get another time jump because now we cut to a junkyard at night.
Took him a while.
Prue removes a chain from a gate. They walk over to the ice cream truck, and Prue realizes that they have to open the back door of the truck.
She tries once by hand and once by magic, but neither time works.
Yeah. She tells Victor to try and then gives him a slightly condescending pep talk about how to open the door.
Yeah. Victor opens the door and then thanks her for the advice.
Yeah. They go inside the truck. Prue is annoyed that things keep moving around and worries that the ice cream man might have been taken by the Nothing. Victor mentions the Nothing, saying he remembers seeing kids being taken, and Prue reluctantly agrees with him that they need to move quickly.
The ice cream man, who is laying against a tree nearby, tells them to get out while they still can.
Prue rushes over to him and apologizes.
He tells them that he's the one that made the mistake because the charmed ones wouldn't have known the kids weren't innocents.
Prue asks how he knows that they're the charmed ones, and he says that they both have friends in high places and was alerted as soon as he pulled them into the truck.
Which, hey, good communication.
Yeah. They help him stand back up, they realize that they need to move, and he says that they need to get the kids back into the truck.
Prue says that they will with his help, and he tells them to fix the truck and play the song.
Right, because apparently he disabled the truck
before he hopped in.
Before he went into it.
I don't understand why, but whatever.
I don't understand why either, but what can you do?
Yeah, he pulls a small glass tube with some, like, silver end caps on it out of his shirt pocket and tells them that this will help them fix the truck.
Yeah. Prue tries to get him to leave first. He tells her that he can be replaced, but she can't, and pushes them away, and then he gets sucked up by the Nothing.
Yeah.
Because of course he does.
Prue is very upset, naturally. But Victor tells her that the only way she fails if she doesn't get back out of the truck and get the kids back into it.
Yep. They run off, and we go to commercial break. When we come back from commercial, we pan down from that building with many, many windows to see Piper and Phoebe walking down a sidewalk.
They're still looking for the kids, and they happen to find them
just behind a bush. Yeah.
The kids are talking about how happy they are to be out of the playground.
Piper realizes that the kids were just looking for the truck, and much to the chagrin of Phoebe, they also know that the truck is in the junkyard.
Piper says that it's 3 versus 3, and they're bigger. But then we see 3 more kids walk up to the ones that we know already.
Yep. And they don't get names, they don't get IMDb credits, they don't even get lines.
They get nothing.
Yeah, though the girl looked vaguely familiar, like I've seen her in something more recently.
I don't remember.
No idea. Not a clue. Anyway, they hear Ari say that they need to destroy the truck, and the girls go running off to get Prue and Victor because they need reinforcements. We cut over to the junkyard just as Phoebe and Piper walk through the gate.
They realize that the demon kids are probably already there, which is funny because they can't drive.
It's an a la convenience.
Yeah.
Because there is no reason that the demon kids should have gotten there first.
Nope.
None at all.
Insert gif of Kronk here. And somehow these demon kids know that they've already shown up.
And we hear them laughing. Piper wonders if they do the laughing because they think it's funny or just to freak them out.
And I say, ¿por qué no los dos?
And she asks if Phoebe has gotten a premonition of everything turning out well and has just forgotten to mention it.
Yeah. One of the demon kids scratches their fingernails along a car, and my teeth are hurting remembering it. Phoebe thinks they're being surrounded, but says that they still have the odds on their side because they're witches.
Right. A demon kid then hits Piper over the head with a car part, knocking her unconscious.
How can you even reach that high? I don't know.
Because demon.
Yeah, whatever.
Phoebe sits Piper up against a car before going after the little brats.
Yep.
Yeah.
We cut back to the truck. Prue tells Victor that the doorway is out at the top of the slide.
He starts to go up, and then Prue starts to get sucked into the nothing.
At which point she calls out for her daddy. No, not that daddy. Get your mind out of the gutter, people. And grabs his arms. She says that she needs him, and he says he's not leaving without her, and continues trying to pull her back onto the slide with him.
Yeah, there's some obvious wire work, but we'll let it go.
Let it go.
Yes. He grabs her into a hug, and they both stand at the top of the slide, hugging and panting. And apparently the nothing is like, I'll get you later.
It was too difficult. I wasn't that hungry.
Yeah, like, I do not understand that.
No.
Like, complete honesty.
Granted, he did just eat.
But that's not the point.
I know.
But, like, legitimately, it would have been better had they, like, in trying to pull her out, fallen out through the hole.
Yeah.
And fallen out of the truck.
I
Because
agree.
then it would have made sense as to why the nothing didn't get her.
Yep. They have left his jurisdiction.
Just saying. Anyway, we cut back to the junkyard as we see Piper still being unconscious, leaning against the car.
The kids are surrounding Phoebe.
And then a demon boy jumps on Phoebe's back
So she kind of twists him and throws him onto Ari and Freckles.
and knocks them to the ground.
Freckles blows at Phoebe and flings her toward Jersey.
And the kids laugh and they walk over to her just as Prue and Victor get out of the truck.
Prue uses her power on the kids, flinging them all over the cars.
Yeah, every single one of the kids gets flung over their own car.
Yep.
Because, that's a thing that happens with one flick of the wrist.
It looked really fun. I bet if the kids were doing that stunt, they had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Prue hands Victor the glass tube and asks if he knows what to do with it.
He says that he spent 8 years fixing their mother's car, so he thinks he has an idea.
Uh-huh. Prue says that they'll buy him some time. He helps Phoebe up and tells Freckles that she needs a timeout.
And then she uses her power to fling Freckles against a fence, and we get a lovely little shot of the wire pulling back on Freckles' sweater.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't know whose job it was to take out the wire work, but they done fucked up.
They didn't have as good computers back then.
Yeah.
And this would not have been in high definition.
No, not so much. But it was kind of funny. Like, you could tell, the sweater was puckered as it was pulling backwards. Like, it was obvious. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Victor is back to the front of the truck, and he opens up the hood to look for the place to put the glass tube.
And then a flame flies out of the demon boy's hand, heading for Prue and Phoebe, and they slide face first over a car and land on some tires back first on the ground. Just saying.
Yep.
That's the thing that happened.
Yep. Ari sneaks up to Victor's side and is about...
Yeah, as Victor is taking his sweet time staring at this truck, because we are shown an insert shot of exactly where he needs to put the tube, and you see him looking at it, but doesn't actually do anything yet.
Nope, because he's got a stall for time.
Uh-huh.
Ari raises his hand to reach out, and the hand starts to glow red, and Victor's face starts to glow. But before any screaming happens, Prue flings Ari away with her powers.
Right. You'd think that the screaming would have happened, or at least, there's some sort of visual representation on Victor's face would have happened.
Ari's got to preheat. He's got to preheat that particular oven.
Apparently.
Mm-hmm. You have to prime the broiler before you light it.
There you go. I'll allow it.
Yep.
Okay.
That's Ari's demon name, the broiler.
Nice. Anyway,
there's a little awkward look between Prue and Victor, and then Victor finally puts the tube in its place.
The tube glows white, and the music starts playing, and all the kids stop what they're doing and walk over to the truck. And then all of them, in one fell swoop, get sucked into the truck with a scream, and the window of the truck closes. And just then, Piper regains consciousness.
A la convenience.
Uh-huh.
And Phoebe goes over to her.
Phoebe then welcomes Victor to their world. Piper asks to be reminded of this day when she decides to have kids.
Pretty sure she already did that, so retroactively reminding? Sure. Well, she already decided she wanted to have kids, so they have to retroactively remind her of this moment before it even happened.
Yes. And then Leo and Caleb walk into the junkyard.
Piper's kind of pissed at Leo for a second.
Like, why did you bring him here?
But then we learn that Caleb is apparently the new ice cream man.
And apparently he was being super awkward because he couldn't just come out and ask Piper if she was one of the charmed ones.
Not in public, anyway.
Yeah. Like, are you one of the charmed ones? Can you take me to my demon-catching truck?
Yep. That was a cute line, I have to say.
He then switches out from his black jacket for a blue and white striped one, thanks them all, Leo wishes him good luck, and Caleb, does a salute to him before he gets in the truck. It's
I'm like,
kind of funny.
Okay, hang on. I get that there was a chain on the fence, on the gate for the fence of the junkyard, but why doesn't this thing have a boot on it?
Because it's in the junkyard.
Yeah, but you'd still...
Nah, don't know.
Why wouldn't you put, a boot on that shit?
Don't know.
Or something. Some way of disabling it so that someone can't just sneak into the fucking junkyard and steal a car.
Well, but if you
dogs.
think
Where
about
are the
it, though,
dogs?
But if you think about
Where
it...
is the stereotypical Doberman guarding the place?
Well...
Why isn't this Beethoven? I love Doberman so much.
Okay, but if you think about it, though, the car was technically disabled when it got there. Because
it was only disabled from the point of the ice cream man himself. It wasn't disabled from the point of, hey, can we drive it?
I don't know.
Well, okay. That tube was the connector to... Well, it wasn't really a tube. It was like a crystal faceted...
It was like a
crystal
fuse
thingy.
of some sort.
Yeah, but I don't think that would have affected the drivability
I don't know.
of the car.
Don't know.
Maybe?
Possibly. Don't know.
Whatever.
Anyway, Phoebe laments not being able to look at Creamsicle quite the same way anymore, which seems to strike Prue in a funny place. And then we cut to a lovely night shot of the city buildings, including the Triangle Building, before transitioning into an exterior day shot of the manor.
Victor, in a lovely gray suit, is packing up to leave.
And the girls are at the door to see him off. Phoebe is in gray pants and a white tank top with some rhinestone flowers and the word Wyoming and a picture of a cowboy across the bust with blue bra straps showing, and her hair is in a messy updo. Piper is in a cream knit sweater and jeans, and her hair is in pigtail braids reminiscent of Freckles the Demon Girl.
Mm-hmm.
And Prue is in a white knit halter crop top and jeans with her hair down.
Yeah, not as bad as the tube top sweater pocket.
Very true.
Yeah.
I think nothing will top that.
Nothing's gonna really top that.
Yeah.
Some's gonna have way funkier patterns, but nothing's gonna top a cable knit tube top with hoodie sweater pocket and matching zip up hoodie. Mm-hmm. With palms.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Anyway.
90s, why do you do this to us?
Phoebe hugs Victor and asks him to keep writing to her. He tells her that she doesn't have to keep secrets anymore about anything and kisses her forehead, and she kind of gives him a look that tries not to betray her actual thoughts or feelings on that.
Yep. He walks over to Piper, hugs her, and asks how much Leo knows about her, and Piper says that he knows just about everything.
And Victor says that he's got a father's prerogative to chat with him sometime, which gets a lovely little, Dad, that sort of
Yeah, and
you don't need to talk to my boyfriend.
Yeah, it's very clear he doesn't know who Leo is.
Yeah.
And I'm just I can't wait for him to find out.
Yeah.
Can't wait to watch that episode again.
He then walks over to Prue. She says that she's not saying goodbye. Piper and Phoebe kind of yell at her, but
then she smiles and says she's going to say, see you soon.
Yeah, she hugs him. He thanks her, and he says that he was in town for a job interview and that he'd like to see them more often because he'd be based in San Francisco.
They agree to that. A horn honks outside, and he grabs his stuff to head out to the cab.
And they all realize that things will be different now. He leaves, and we end on a shot of the girls staring at the door.
Oh,
before we go to end credits.
End credits.
Mm-hmm. So, with our episode done, it is time for ratings.
Ratings. You go first.
I am going with 7 out of 10 history rewrites.
And I give it 6 out of 10 foggy froyo.
I like it.
Because I can't give it that. I literally cannot give it any higher because I keep forgetting this episode.
Yeah.
I'll watch it again, sure. But the fact that I could not remember what happened in it the day after I'd watched it means it does not get good hard marks for me.
Yeah.
Like, even though when I see the title, I'm like, oh, yes, I remember this one. But if I can't think of the title, I cannot remember the episode, and that's a problem.
Which is very funny, because for me, this is literally the only episode in season 3 that I remembered while I was watching it. Like, like, as soon as I saw the title, I was like, oh, yes, I do remember this one. And as I was going through, I was like, yes, I remember all of this.
Yeah.
But this is the only one so far that, like, I knew exactly what was going to happen. I knew where it was going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so with our ratings done, we are on to outfits. Did you have a favorite outfit?
Not really.
No?
No, I can't really remember most of them. Like, the descriptions were all fine and whatever, but, like, my brain's not providing me with an actual memory. So I have very few opinions.
Well, all right.
Actually, I have very pale opinions, I should say. It's not that I don't have them, it's just they're not very strong.
Yeah. For me, like I said, with Prue, it's the blue and purple top thing. If it had a back on it, I would totally wear that myself. So I like that outfit on her. For Piper, it was the knit sweater with the tan skirt.
I think I'd have to go with that, because
Yeah.
honestly, that's the one I remember the most.
And it looked really good on her. It was very classic.
Especially with the hair.
Yeah, it's very, very nice. And for Phoebe, is it wrong that I liked the velour top from the first scene?
That's not wrong.
Like, it was such a
Ain't
weird
nothing
top.
wrong with liking that.
It was such a weird top, and
Well,
I just
yeah.
enjoyed it.
So?
Yep. So that's it. We are now onto the social media.
As always, you can find us at charmchats.com. We are on Twitter and Tumblr as Charmed Chats Pod. We are on Instagram as Charmed Chats.
On Facebook as Charm Chats.
And if you want to shoot us some questions or something, you can always email us at charmchats@gmail.com.
Yep. If you want to rate and review us on iTunes, that would be awesome.
Oh, yes, that would be lovely.
Yep. And we have merch,
Yeah.
so you can buy stuff
Yep.
with our lovely new logo on it.
Just head on over to redbubble.com/people/waterflame.
Yep.
Because Kat already had a Redbubble, so.
Exactly. It just made it easier. So that's the only one that isn't under Charm Chats in any way. But
And if you are feeling so generous and would like to throw a couple of bucks our way, head on over to patreon.com/charmchats. And, even the $1 tier will get you all of our bonus content and into our Discord channel.
yep.
Because we have one of those now, too, so you can chat with us if you want.
Yeah. And Discord is fun because every day I think of new things to do with the Discord. And so
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think of nothing, so.
yes.
Not with the Discord anyway. I'm not that good with Discord.
That's all right.
Which is funny because I'm me and I'm full of Discord.
Yes. Anyway. But yeah, if you are already a Patreon patron, you have access to the Discord. Please join it.
Yeah.
Come say hi. Because you can literally send us, like, if you've sent us an email in the past, and it took me 4 days to get to it, that's because I only check the email account once a week. But if you send a message on Discord, I get it nigh instantaneously.
She has the push notifications, everybody.
Yep. It's on my computer. It comes to my phone. It's glorious. And I can answer it quickly. And here's the best part about Discord. If you and I are both on Discord at the same time, and you have a microphone, and I have a microphone, we can talk to each other in real time. If you've ever wanted to be on the show, it's kind of like that, only not being recorded.
Yeah.
But you actually would be able to speak to me in real time. And, like, we could just chat about all sorts of stuff.
But any episode you want, like there's a spoiler channel for stuff we just haven't gotten to yet.
Yeah.
There's a random.
Yeah, there's even an off topic. Where, we can talk about anything else besides Charmed in the off topic.
Yep.
It's quite nice.
Yes. Yeah, so I think that's it.
I do believe that is it. So until next time.
Sleep tight. Don't let the warlocks bite.
Or suck you into an ice cream truck.
Uh-huh.
Bye!
Bye!
Phoebe, Piper, and Prue, they've got evil to slay and some potions to brew. So we'll see where it's at next time with Kendra and Kat on Charm.